welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage. We are here and starting the 60s.
Huzzah!
Yeah, we've got Alakazam the Great.
Yes. You're Tennille.
And you're Sean.
Indeed. This is an interesting film to start off the 1960s.
Yeah. So Toei Animation's back. With Alakazam the Great, which is essentially another retelling of Journey to the West. We've covered Journey to the West before in the past with Princess Ironfan, which was the first Chinese animated film. And we're definitely going to be seeing Journey to the West a lot over Animation Pilgrimage.
It's really, really popular in Asian culture.
A lot. And I gotta say that so far, the first two films that we've seen that are Journey to the West focused, I'm not all that impressed.
Really? I definitely like this one much more than the last one.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it's not quite fair to this film to say that I don't like the story, because this was yet again another film that we could not find the
original Japanese version.
Right, exactly. So instead we had the American version, and the American version decided to edit out quite a few scenes, redid the whole entire orchestra and music and all that, of course, because they had to, and of course redub all the lines, and
they
changed
everyone's names.
And a lot of the context behind why things are happening.
All of the plot makes no sense.
This one did not get as nice of a treatment as Magic Boy got.
No, where that was pretty much a direct adaptation.
Yeah, at least a fairly direct adaptation. This one, there's things that, watching it, it's really, really obvious when they decide to do something different. Like deciding to call the wizard in this film Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin from ancient Chinese lore and stuff. That makes sense. In fact, if you go to the Wikipedia page for this movie, it has a list of all of the correct and original names and all the names that the Americans chose to change it to.
I think instead of going over all of these, what I'm just going to do is take a picture of this and show it here while we're talking about it. Because, the American film decides to change everyone's name.
And the context behind a lot of these characters and how they interact with each other, I could only assume is wrong.
Yeah, because, okay,
you get the broad strokes, but, oh man.
There's two characters in particular I want to talk about when it comes to this, is Alakazam himself, which is
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
And then, the Prince.
Prince Amat. Yes, totally the Prince. Who is, Tang Sanzang? I apologize if I pronounced that completely incorrectly.
Right, but he's a priest.
Yeah, he's a priest or a monk.
Yeah.
Or he's the guy that the three apprentices protect throughout the journey to the West.
Right, but in this film they decide to make him a prince. And
I'm not actually that familiar with Journey to the West, but I'm pretty sure he's not a prince and is instead just an incredibly religious man.
Right. So, because they've decided to change that, and Alakazam in general is really, really annoying in this film.
Supposed to be.
I know, but that doesn't stop him from being really annoying. You could do this kind of... Alakazam is supposed to have this character arc where he's a jerk, he's selfish, and he needs to, become better and learn that it's cool to be nice to people and stuff like that. You can still make charming asshole characters. Alakazam is not charming at all. He is someone who, about 15 minutes into the movie, I want to punch. And just wish that everyone would leave this jerk alone so that he could die a miserable death. Alone. Because he's so annoying.
I find that really interesting because I honestly think I enjoyed his character quite a bit.
Really?
Yes, I think he is an annoying asshole throughout the majority of the film, but probably about the 1/3 point where you get to the breaking point of, all right, this guy has to change or else I can't stand to be around him anymore. He finally does, and he gets forced into a situation where he has to do good things or else he'll die. Or something like that.
Well, the first time he's kind of coerced into doing a good thing is when his monkey girlfriend Dee Dee almost dies in the snow, and he's like, I'll do anything, I'll even stop being stubborn and escort your stupid prince son to the place so that she won't die, even though the whole reason she's going to die is because I'm being a jerk and like, but she's so nice and still like bringing food to me in my cell.
Oh yeah, Dee Dee, or in the original Lin or Lin.
Yeah, it's way too good for this guy.
Way too good for the Monkey King. She should just leave his sorry ass and move on.
Yeah.
But she doesn't.
Yeah. So, like, and then as soon as he does agree to do this thing, then he's immediately like, man, this is dumb. I don't know why I agreed to do this. It's just like,
but then for the next 2/3 of the movie, he actually gets better and is like,
I don't know if
doing
gets
good.
better is the correct terms. He just stops being a jerk.
Exactly.
Which, that doesn't make him a good person.
No, he's a crafty asshole. That's the Monkey King.
I know, but I still don't like him.
And now instead of being mean to people that don't deserve it, he's being a jerk to people that actually do deserve to be
tricked
and treated poorly or something.
I guess. Either way, so you want to...
His animation's fantastic, by the way.
Yes,
I love him.
That is one thing I do want to give this film, is I do think the art direction and the animation is another step up from Magic Boy.
Oh, yes. Which this is only like a year after the last one? Or something like that?
Yeah, like really, like we've got some more good animation, some really interesting set pieces, and like magic fights, because there's been magic fights now in like every single
toy animated.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of that's a Japanese thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kind of like Russia has the amazing, beautiful horses, generally demons and witchcraft. Japan is just like, screw it, we're doing magic.
Magic fight. There has to be at least one time where two characters are floating around.
Duking it out with magic.
And it doesn't really look good, but whatever, they're duking it out with magic.
Oh, there's a character in this, I don't know what his original name is supposed to be, but he just comes out of nowhere and is like, stop, I am Hercules! And, we both just burst out laughing because this is very clearly not supposed to actually be Hercules.
Yeah, Alakazam is up in heaven, ? American release?
I don't know where this is supposed to be.
He's
the spirit realm?
Yeah, he's in the spirit world, and suddenly there's these really unfortunately dressed heaven police
who are all wearing white robes that cover their heads in almost pointy fashions. They all got like police stars, and this is all incredibly unfortunate, or also very poignant commentary that wasn't meaning to be.
Just yikes.
Because, I mean, if you think about the 60s and like the political, social and political commentary that was going on at the time in America, this was very on point.
Yikes.
On point, on accident, I can only assume.
Yeah, no idea, but all I can say is that the imagery is very yikes.
It's just like, okay.
Alrighty then.
I wasn't expecting the KKK to show up in this.
Yeah. But yeah, they're chasing Alakazam, and then he kind of gets away, and then just stop. I am Hercules.
Stop! I am Hercules.
And then they have a magic duel.
They have a magic duel where they transform into a bunch of different animals, and to win the fight, Alakazam, or Sun Wukong, turns into the Fantasia T-Rex.
He sure does.
It's nothing but the Fantasia T-Rex.
It's very, very similar.
Okay, we've talked about a random point in this movie. We should probably back up and actually cover the beginning.
Give a little bit of a summary. Okay, so Alakazam actually starts out fairly charming. I kind of like him in the beginning.
He's a coward.
Yeah, he's a coward, and so I think he's fine. But he and Dee Dee meet, and she's like, "Oh, are you gonna go
try to become the king of the
monkeys?
King of the beasts?
King of the beasts.
To become the Monkey King."
Yeah. And he's really shy and cowardly. He doesn't want to do it, but she's like, "I believe in you. You can do it."
And so he does.
He does it then.
By jumping into a waterfall, falling below it, and then there is a temple down there. I can only assume this is one of those scenes that was cut or heavily edited, because he goes down, sees this underwater temple, goes to it, and then he's coming back out of the water with a door.
Yeah.
So I can only assume there was more here in the original Japanese version, and if I knew the original tale of The Monkey King or Journey to the West, I'm sure I would know what was supposed to happen
fill
here.
in the blanks.
If anyone does know, let us know, because I'm assuming he went down there and interacted with someone or something.
I'm sure we could find out. We could just Google it.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but we're busy. Either way, this is yeah.
And then, okay, so then he becomes the Monkey King. And by the way, speaking of American voice actors, Sterling Holloway is in this film as the narrator. Sterling Holloway, a.k.a. Winnie the Pooh.
And a character
a million other Disney things.
At the time, oh yeah.
Because he narrates a bajillion things for Disney.
That was a little jarring.
Yeah. He's just like...
Winnie the Pooh starts telling the story.
He's like, Alakazam was not a wise or helpful king. No, he was a selfish and spoiled king. And he's just talking, and I'm like, oh gosh.
This was interesting.
I don't know, it's something about Sterling Holloway's voice. He has a great voice, but it is so distinct that hearing him do yet another narration, it's just like, come on, man.
Okay, we need to stop doing the narration here, bro.
Yeah, your voice is just so unique. I need somebody else's voice here.
Mm-hmm.
His is probably the biggest name that's in this movie.
At least that we know.
Yeah, although when looking up the names, the singing voice for Alakazam was some teen idol at the time.
That reads.
Okay. By the way, there's a lot of songs in this film.
And they're all redone very clearly. It's very clearly that someone was supposed to be singing in Japanese right here. So they had to make a song in English, and none of them are anywhere near as good as what they did for Sasuke.
Yeah, but Sasuke didn't have too many songs. This has quite a few songs.
It's actually a musical.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The English version's not very good.
No, I'll definitely have to play a few clips of that, because it is pretty interesting stuff.
Either way, he's a jerk king.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what's this picture of this human on my wall? And they're like, that's Merlin the Wizard.
And Sean and I just bust out laughing, sure it is.
By Merlin the Wizard, I think you mean Sir Subhuti? Subhuti?
Okay.
I'm sure this is a well-known character.
Probably.
But either way, he's like, I'm better than him. And then he has a dream about humans capturing and enslaving him. He's like, I gotta not be bad and be better than humans. So he goes to Merlin. And Merlin, who's on top of a mountain, very similar to the guy that teaches Sasuke. I wonder if it's supposed to be the same person?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it's supposed to be based on like that same legend of like a hermit in the mountains teaching magic.
Yeah, or that might just be like a Japanese trope based upon this story.
It seems to be.
Yeah, because this kind of thing happens a lot in a lot of these Japanese films and stuff.
Yeah.
Either way, he tricks the guy or steals his book and like, I'm gonna rip it up unless you teach me magic. And this dude's like, all right, it won't make you happy though.
Well, no, he specifically says something like, I'll teach you magic, but one day it may like cause you
grief or something?
Cause you grief or unhappiness or something like that. Which is just something that they like set up that has no real payoff.
Oh, I think it pays off almost immediately.
Okay, I guess so. It's a short arc.
Yeah, it's a short arc as in like 5-10 minutes later.
Yeah.
So, alright, now he knows magic. It literally just jumps to him knowing magic. Was there more in the original Japanese version? Who knows? I don't know if there was a training montage here, but we skipped it for the American version.
Yeah.
And then he's just walking around like, I know magic, I'm better than everyone. And then his girlfriend Dee Dee shows up and like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see you. And he's like, I don't care, because I'm awesome in magic and stuff.
Ugh.
And now I'm going to go off to the heavens and knock some faces around and eat their forbidden fruit.
Yeah, because I'm the best and I deserve it.
And I'm going to show them that I'm better than all of them.
Yeah.
So he does. And that's when he gets chased by the KKK cops.
And Hercules.
And he also beats another guy that I don't remember the name of him, but he gets the iconic extending growing staff that he uses through every piece of lore you've ever seen him in.
He also uses the cloud.
Yeah, this is about the time he starts using the cloud as well. I wonder if he just starts doing that?
I don't know.
Or if there was another scene that was cut. Now that I know that scenes were cut from this film, which was pretty obvious, now I'm just like questioning when, how much was cut.
From my sources, it was telling me that this was pretty heavily edited, so sounds like we could be missing a lot of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me really sad, because it just makes me want to see the original even more.
Yeah, because it sounds like this film did have like a nice pace to it. This film, as it is with the American release, and by the way, if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch this
for free
on Amazon Prime, or for just a couple of bucks if you don't have Amazon Prime.
No Japanese version available.
Yeah, no Japanese version available. But, like, the way that this one is edited together, the pace feels so slow. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it feels like it goes on forever.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, one thing we haven't really talked about is this movie is intentionally supposed to have a lot of comedic, like, gags and jokes, which obviously any of the audio jokes are not there anymore, because we're not in the Japanese version. But any, like, visual gag is still around, which is why the cops exist. I
guess, yeah. But the American release does make up for that by making a whole bunch of contemporary jokes. Anyway.
From here, he goes up to the Buddha?
Yeah.
He's the Buddha, right? Am I confusing my
That's who I think it is.
My religious visualizations? Is it? It's not Ganesh. It's Buddha.
No.
It's like he goes up to Buddha and he's like, I'm better than you and I'm gonna prove it by doing magic.
But don't they call Buddha like the king? Isn't he supposed to be the king in this?
Yeah, I think he's Prince Amo. Yeah. He's King Amo. Oh, the original name here is Shakyamuni?
So there's
Shakyamuni.
King Amo and Queen Amas. Which the movie makes a joke at the beginning of the film where it's like, this is Sterling Holloway again, by the way, narrating this, and he's like, there was King Amo and Queen Amas, and so naturally when they had a son, they named him Prince Amat. What is going on?
No, the prince is not related and his name is Tang Sang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Either way, Buddha 1 and Buddha 2.
Buddha locks up Alakazam.
Because he's a jerk.
Because he's a jerk and he needs to learn his lesson. And he's like, the only way that you can get out of here is if you learn humility and compassion. Or alternatively, if
could just die.
Or you could die. Or alternatively, you could escort my Sun Prince monk man.
It's true.
In a journey across the West.
Journey to the West. And he's like, I'm not doing that crap. And then Dee Dee is constantly feeding him, even though he's a jerk to her. And then eventually she like collapses in the snow. He's like, fine, I'll do it. Just don't let her die. And then he does.
Yeah. They put a little crown on him so he doesn't disobey.
Because it tightens if he tries to disobey.
Yeah.
And crushes his skull.
Like a grape. And then... and then, so they go off and they meet...
a random village.
Yeah.
And they're being plagued by a guy. So...
This is where things starts to get a little fuzzy.
The leader's daughter is being unwantedly courted by Sir Quigley Brokenbottom.
That is the name
that they decide to give Zhu Baiji. Or that's wrong. That's wrong. I know it's wrong.
The pig man. The pig apprentice.
The pig apprentice. Sir Quigley Brokenbottom.
Okay, movie. Okay.
Alright, Alakazam and Sir Quigley. Sir Quigley shows up and he's like, hey, beautiful, I'm a sleazy, gross guy that likes women, which, I mean, is probably true to the original Japanese version as well.
Yeah, like, I'm guessing that this character is actually spot on.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, I'm guessing this character is always a gross sleazebag, because, I mean, this is going off of the Dragon Ball interpretation of this part of the story.
Uh-huh.
I'm just to prove a point.
Yeah.
The character that represents this is also a terrible perv.
Right.
And at one point, he uses the Dragon Balls to wish for panties.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because that's his thing, is he wants women's panties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's based on the same guy.
Yeah.
Either way, coming back to this movie.
Here's another thing, though. We didn't talk about this earlier, but I wanted to. The prince, specifically, is someone who... There's a big culture divide here.
Oh, yeah.
About what, obviously, Japan would make this guy sound like, and what America decided this guy should sound like. Because they decided to make him a prince, he sounds very authority and, like... tells it how it is.
You can't laugh at these people. They're crying. Why do you not feel bad about this? Type of thing.
Right.
And obviously I have no example for sure, but just looking at this guy's character and the subtle animations that he does, I can only assume he talked more in a voice like this. It's like, why do you laugh at these people's troubles? Or something to that extent is what this screams to me.
Yeah.
And so it's very weird for him to just be like, stop yelling at them, Alakazam, you're a terrible person.
Right.
I'm like, whoa.
Like, I don't think that was the intent here.
Either way, Alakazam pretends to be the girl. Sir Quigley, the pig, shows up and is like, I'm wearing these beautiful clothes, and like, I don't like it. Go away. It's like, all right, well then I'll change into this Russian stereotype. No, I don't like it. Go away. All right, now I'm Hawaiian, and now I'm doing this other thing, and it's like, well, okay.
This goes on for a bit.
This goes on for a bit, and then he's like, I'm Alakazam, and now we're gonna fight because you said you'd beat up Alakazam. And then Quigley's like, alright, now I gotta run away because I also have my own cloud.
Right.
Either way, he goes back to his cave with Herman and Vermin McSnarls, who are actually the Golden and Silver Horned Kings, respectively. I can't get over these names.
Herman and Vermin McSnarls.
Why did you change the names when the original name literally translates to Golden Horned King?
Like,
it's
that
so
one's
easy.
So easy. These other names I'll give you, but Herman and Vermin McSnarls.
Oh my gosh. Either way, there's two guys and they're evil and stuff, and they trap Sun Wukong, Alakazam, in a gourd.
Now this one made sense to me because I've played Okami.
Well, yeah, this is well known.
This is a well-known thing for me.
It's like the fog gourd or something like that. I mean, that might be incorrect, but it sucks him into it, and then he's able to poke a hole in it and escape before he melts.
Falls asleep.
Something dies. The connotation I was getting out of it is like whoever's stuck in there will eventually melt away into nothing, which obviously is bad.
Yeah.
So
killed him, yo.
Yeah. So he escapes, and then turns the tables on the McSnarls. Briefly falls into a pit, kills a giant scorpion, gets back out, and then traps them in the gourd where they stay and presumably die.
Yeah.
And then he threatens Quigley with joining or he'll die as well. So Quigley is now an apprentice and on they go.
And so they go to the desert.
They go into the desert and, there was an Oni child here who is reporting in to the Bull Demon King, or as this movie likes to call him, King Gruesome.
That one's not as bad of a name.
No, it's not that bad, but the original name is the Bull Demon King. I guess they didn't want the word demon, because it's the 60s.
You know what? Yeah.
Anything that's referring to kings, queens, demons, anything that's religious in any way, they
have kings and queens in this film. Oh, but I guess not bad. You can't be a bad king or queen.
Yeah.
You have to be good.
So,
because for whatever reason.
Well, no, it's still King Gruesome. Never mind.
Oh, I guess it is. Yeah. So King
but he's not a demon anymore. Yeah. That's the important.
Even though there's demons all over this film that are unquestionably demons.
Yeah, like the little Oni child is like a demon.
Okay, 60s audiences I could see not understanding.
Was his name Philo Fester?
I guess so.
I'm trying to remember. Like, there's a list of names here, and I can't remember. I can only assume it's Philo Fester, or in the original, Shoryu. Like a Shoryuken. I'm sorry. I have no idea what Shoryu even means.
Oni. Well, we're just going to call him Oni Child.
The Oni Child, and he's got like a telephone in his pants with the radio head, and he talks on a TV to the Demon King.
Yeah. But no, there's other times where it's like they're in a gladiator pit and there's like obviously demons around and stuff. Where it's like even a 60s audience who is not familiar with any of Japanese lore would look at that and go, that's a demon.
That's a demon devil. Oh, bad stuff, demon devils. No. By golly, that's not good with me, fine fellows. That's way too far back.
Are you displaced in history?
A little bit, yes.
Just by 20 or 30 years.
Anyways. They go into the desert. The demon child briefly captures the Prince King Monkman, and Alakazam saves him.
That happened.
Nothing really was accomplished. And then they find a castle.
And they go inside, and inside is the third apprentice, who is a cannibal?
In the English dubbing of this, at least, I have no idea how it is in the original. He might be a cannibal there, but this is Sha Wujing, or Max Lulipopo. Why?
Why?
I don't know. Why is Max Lulipopo any better than Xiao Wujing?
I don't understand, movie, but okay.
And in the English translation, he's cannibal for some reason.
Yeah.
But whatever. There's some hijinks.
I mean, I
Wukong
wouldn't
does
be,
the thing.
like, horribly surprised if he was also a cannibal in
The original?
because,
Yeah.
like, all three of the apprentices are bad people.
Yeah, they're all
Who,
bad
like,
people who
need
get
to learn a lesson.
transitioned. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's part of the charm of it.
Mm-hmm. Either
so,
way, Sun Wukong turns into a tiny fly, goes into his stomach, and does the thing where he beats on all of his insides, very similar to what happened in Princess Ironfan, where it happened to Princess Ironfan as compared to Xiao Wujing.
Lulipopo.
Lulipopo, yeah.
Max.
Max. Good old Max from ancient Chinese lore.
These names.
We had a lot of fun with this movie, even if it was pretty bad.
I can guarantee you, most of the time I was watching this film, my head was cocked like
What is going on?
3/4 sideways, with my mouth hanging slightly open, and a slight smile on my face of just like, what?
Nani?
Nani?
Anyways, now they have all three apprentices. Good for them. This is the whole crew. They finally did it.
We
And
finally get to the plot of Princess
they
Ironfan.
get to the plot of Princess Ironfan, aka they go to an area that is overrun by a volcano and everything's on fire, so they need to infiltrate the Bull Demon King's home, trick his wife, Princess Ironfan, or as this movie just calls her, Queen Gruesome, trick her into getting the Iron Fan, which turns things to ice or super cools them off, however you want to use it.
Yeah.
So they trick her, and of course the sleazy guy is hitting on her because of course the pig is going to do that.
Yeah, Alakazam loses his magic.
Well, that happens right after this, because off screen, Prince Monk King gets captured again.
Yeah, he's a rather big damsel in distress here.
And the Oni child is pretending to be him. And Alakazam goes back, the pig is captured by Princess Ironfan, and Sun Wukong does not care.
Yeah.
He comes back, he's got the fan, and then the Oni child's like, Hwasha! You lost all your magic now, for reasons. And Sun Wukong is like, no!
But then, 5 minutes later, the Bull Demon King is talking to the Oni child, and he's like, I'm not gonna pay you. And the Oni child's like, that stinks. And so he goes and he finds Alakazam. He's like, yeah, so I'm sorry. And then he gives him his magic
You spared
back.
my life by not killing me when I was down.
Yeah.
Right just this second, so here, you can have your magic back. Because at this point, the Monkey King and the cannibal guy are infiltrating the base to save the dude and the pig, I guess.
Yeah.
So they go in, and then there's just a big giant scrap battle with a bunch of random demons. The Bull King gets really angry and turns into the bull and flies around the sky again.
Alakazam tricks him into falling into the volcano.
Through the use of Spanish matadorism.
Yeah, actually spearing the bull.
Yeah, actually sparing the bull multiple times, and then he puts the thing over it, like the
Cape.
the cape over his face, and the Bull King's just like, okay, I guess I can't fly anymore, and just falls into the volcano. Oh, and we never actually see him fall into the volcano, because I can only assume
That was edited out.
that was edited out because he was too graphic. Even though we saw Sasuke throw a knife through a skeleton's head in the last movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. So then the movie wraps up. They blow the
Huzzah, you're
fan
all-
over the thing, and then
They go back to Buddha and Buddha 2, and good job, you guys did good job.
You got our son here.
You got our son, wink wonk, over through the thing, and you did well, And congratulations.
You're free now.
You're free now, and you're all heroes and changed people or something.
Yeah, and then...
He goes back home, and for some reason, Dee Dee is dying?
Yeah, she's, like, sick in bed, dying.
She's dying from plot contrivance.
She's dying from heartache.
Like I said, plot contrivance that I haven't seen since I watched Star Wars Episode 3. You're breaking my heart.
Oh. But Alakazam comes in and he's like, I'm back, Dee Dee. And then she's
like,
fine.
I'm happy again. And the movie ends.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I wish I were a fish.
We're not watching that film.
No, we're not. But I wish I could see this movie again. Or I wish I could have seen the original Japanese version of this movie. I don't think I care enough to go back and find the original Japanese version and watch that instead. Maybe in like 5 years, I'll be like, you know what? If I can find a Japanese version of this movie, I'll go watch it now. Mm-hmm. But as it is, it's like, this was a really silly film.
Yeah, if you're someone who's, like, if you have really good English, or like if you're an American or English viewer, and you really enjoy the Journey to the West story, I'd actually recommend this film because it's probably a riot with how
bad it is.
But as a general film, I just think this is rather mediocre.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the art direction is all a step above.
The animation is
a step above. Like, the character designs are really cute. Alakazam's like a really cute monkey.
He's so adorable. I love him.
Yeah, like what he is lacking in personality charm-wise for me, he makes up for in spades in his character design, because he's really cute.
Oh, they did such a good job on these monkeys.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to, eat them all up.
You're so cute.
Oh, adorable monkeys. Oh, he turned me into a bug.
What a jerk.
But, like, seriously, his character design is so good. The pig is fine. The monk is fine. Everyone else is kind of fine, but
I feel like the character
so
designs, they start off really strong, and I like where the movie's going, up until we get to the point where the prince comes in. Mm-hmm. And, like, the prince is the last...
He's hyper-realistic rotoscope man.
Yeah, it's like, and then after that point, it's just kind of, like, slowly kind of drops in quality for me. Mm-hmm. Like, as each new character design shows up, and I'm like, And I don't know if that's just because, like, that's actually how it is. Like, if, you know, during productions things got sloppier and sloppier as it went on. Or if my own personal biases were just, like, wearing on me by the time we got to that point in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it's very clear that this movie was supposed to be a comedic telling of this story in the original Japanese as well. And I have no problems with that.
Oh, no.
It's like, if I could have understood the original Japanese version and could have found it, heck, I would have loved to watch a comedic movie about the Journey to the West.
It feels like a lot of properties that cover Journey to the West do so in a comedic fashion.
Well, I'm guessing it's because it's also been done in a very serious way so many times as well.
I'm guessing so.
We just
we'll probably find out.
Yeah, we just haven't seen a whole lot of them yet or at all.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this film, it was apparently listed in some 1978 book called the 50 Worst Films of All Time. And it was the only animated film featured in that book. And to that I say, that's kind of harsh. Like,
that's incredibly harsh, and I can only assume it was American-released films?
Yeah, from what I looked up in the book, it seems like it was only movies that were American-released, and it didn't include silent films, so it was only, like, sound films. Because the author of the book was like, silent films are an art form in and of themselves.
Actually, this movie is terrible, and that's really dumb.
I don't know, I'm just personifying the guy who wrote this book. Maybe he was a swell guy. I don't know.
Just, like, just thinking about it and thinking about many of the films we've seen on this is not anywhere near as bad as some other films.
Granted, a lot of the other bad films we've watched have not been released to America.
That's true. But we also watched Bugville. Or whatever you want to call that movie. Golly!
Yeah, but at least from an American filmmaking stance,
that was okay.
That one probably makes more sense to this guy, especially if this book was written in like 1978.
Where he has no connotations around like Japanese and Chinese culture.
Right. So this movie just made absolutely no sense.
And okay, yeah, I guess that's fair for his worldview, I guess. I'd say he's wrong, but I mean, there's not that's from 2018.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do about a guy that wrote that book in what did you say, like 78?
Yeah,
or something. Well, come on, we almost hit the 80s. Anime's coming, dude. Just wait a few years.
For the extremely small niche crowd of Americans who are into anime, I don't think that guy is one of them.
Probably
just a guess. Just a guess.
So how did this movie do? Do you know?
Not well.
Oh.
Did not do well at all.
Well, maybe that's why it ended up in the book.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, yeah, this cut of the movie seems really bad.
It was really heavily marketed and didn't do well. It got a few positive reviews. But yeah, like, even though it got some positive reviews, mostly from people saying like it looks really nice, and it's pretty funny, but people just didn't go see it. So there you go.
Okay.
At least in America. Yet again, I cannot find any information about its Japanese release, so
who knows?
Yeah, if anyone does know any information about this being released in other countries or in Japan, that would be great. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, there, you got like 7 things to let us know in the comments for this video.
Talk to us, baby!
Talk to us, give us your feedback. If you saw this movie before we reviewed it, let us know. If you, like, specifically the American version, and what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
If you've seen the original Japanese version instead somehow, have you seen both? How do you feel?
Anyway, I think this has gone on long enough. So, next time, we are going to the USSR. Mm-hmm. We've got more films from them this decade. Huzzah. And we are starting the decade off in the USSR with It Was I Who Drew the Little Man.
Ooh.
So, see you then.
Alakazam. I don't think I'm the king type. I heard a throne can be the same as a prison.
Oh my, you're not afraid.
I can't even swim, and that water's freezing, they say. And I'd have to jump.